Yo, what is good, y'all? It's your boy Ty back here with another episode of our Extreme Makeover My Team edition. Now, it did get a little more complex with the current gen and next gen thing now. So, in this video and in future videos, I'm now going to ask people to type in whether they want it on current gen or next gen to make it way more specific. Because players are so much different between current gen and next gen. For example, the Zion Williamson that we're going to see on the first squad, and this guy is on current gen. Whereas next gen, I might tell him to make a change or might recommend a change, because the MT might be useful somewhere else. But if you are new to my channel and have not yet, please smash the subscribe button as we're on the road to 40,000 subscribers. This first squad here was sent in by my guy JB on Twitter. It says he has 60k to work with. Now, this squad isn't super expensive, but it's not super cheap either. You know, it is expensive with Grant Hill and Zion, but other than that, it's kind of budget. He's running Surge, who is a great option for a budget player, and then a guy like Klay Thompson, and he still is running great for Austin. So it's tough for me to necessarily make a lot of changes within this lineup since you only have 60k. What I can do with a squad like this is tell you kind of where I would lean as far as what are your next moves in kind of a sense. So Ray Frost and Klay Thompson, I think you got to choose one between those at some point. And kind of what I'm thinking here is the fact that eventually you're going to have to move Darren Williams or Ray Frost. And honestly, you might have to pick between one of them. In my opinion, I'd move Darren there. And then you're going to have a lot more flexibility here at the shooting guard position. If you want to, you can move Grant Hill there. Move Zion if you want as well. But honestly, for now, your squad is fine. Darren Williams here, Ray Frost here. You can wait and see who we get in the next couple weeks. But eventually, Ray Frost or Darren Williams is going to have to go. One of these three players is your first player out of your squad. Then eventually, if we get a better center, you can either downgrade from Tim Duncan and really make some more MT. Because if you do downgrade from Tim Duncan, you're gonna have a lot more MT to work with. But the hard part is right now we don't have a lot of great budget centers in the game. So right now this squad is fine, but I think you do need to upgrade that shooting guard position at some point. Whether you go with a guy like Dominique Wilkins, for example, upgrading him from a Klay Thompson maybe, or something such as that. Now, for now, this squad is definitely good, but eventually you might want to look at upgrading in your guard position. This next squad here was sent in by my guy Max on Twitter, and as you guys can see, legitimately every one of his cards is a reward card, but he does have 1.1 million MT to work with. And he said he likes running pick and rolls with Steph and Blake. Yeah, me too. But you can't have this bum Bill Russell on the court in your starting lineup at least. So I think a great power forward for you. You're on next gen, so this suggestion is for next gen specifically, is adding Diamond LeBron. I think he's a perfect guy to run alongside Blake for under 100k MT, and can shoot the ball very well on next gen. Has a great release, as well as just going to be an incredible defender. On next gen, I like the Diamond LeBron over the Diamond Giannis, and so that's my first suggestion to you. Now, your bench, I know you like to keep a lot of your MT, so we'll save a lot of your MT, but your reward cards aren't bad. Jeff Malone, solid. Ray for Austin, solid. Chris Mullin, solid. Connie Hawkins is solid, and Bill Russell is solid. So they're all pretty solid players, and so you're just gonna have to upgrade one by one. For example, upgrading from Ray for Austin, I guess on next gen, Ray for Austin's incredible. He's got the T-Mac release, and then you're running Jeff Malone with the T-Mac release as well. So if you just want to, replace Chris Mullin with a small upgrade, you can do that. But honestly, I wouldn't really touch your bench right now. I would get LaMarcus out of the Aldridge, or LaMarcus Aldridge out of the lineup. Plug LeBron in there in the starting lineup, and if you really wanted to go crazy on your bench, you could. But I can tell you like that T-Mac backcourt with Rayford and Jeff Malone, the Trey Burke base, I should say. But if you eventually do want to make upgrades, you could pick up possibly a Grant Hill type of a player to run there. And then you could just upgrade little by little. I think for now it's smart to just save your MT, because we are going to see a ton of good point guards, whether it's the new Dwayne Wade, whether it's Baron Davis. So I wouldn't worry too much about your guards, and a big man in Bill Russell can hold it down. If you wanted to, you could just make this small upgrade. I think it's an upgrade getting Serge Ibaka instead of Bill Russell, just because of his ability to stretch the floor. If you wanted to do that, you can, but Bill Russell can definitely hold it down. This next squad here was sent in by Soul on Twitter. Says he has around 600k to work with. Now, first thing I want to say is I've been seeing a lot of people with great starters, like his starters. I hate Blake at the 4, but there's a lot to work with as far as his starters. And then you look at his bench, Otis, Detlef. I hate the fact that you locked in Detlef, but I'm not gonna hold it against you. It's just that's just gonna hang over you, the fact that you locked away the MT. So I'm gonna make a couple of adjustments here. Monte Ellis, Otis Birdsong. Choose one, sell one. If you're fine with Otis, then get rid of Monte Ellis. Your current gen, you said I don't like Monte that much on current gen. Move Iggy or Jaylen Brown to the 2. Move the other one right there. So if you want to just move Jaylen Brown to the 2, that is just fine. I think you're gonna have more success running Rudy instead of that 2-guard lineup, just having that extra height, try to find a badged out Rudy. If you have to pay a little extra, do it, but a badged out Rudy is so tough. Trust me when I say Rudy Gay is definitely a great guy for his price, especially if you can find one badged out. And I just think that simple adjustment you're gonna have a lot of success with. Now, if you want to run Monte Ellis over Otis, that's fine. I'm just saying you can sell Monte Ellis, you can't sell Otis. So that's something I would definitely look for. Now, if you have badged out Maurice Lucas, then his longevity is good. If you haven't badged him out, another thing you might just want to eventually look at is moving maybe Anthony Davis here, Blake there, and doing something like this, plugging in Zion Williamson to get this AD in Zion duo. If you want to start them, you can. If you obviously you can reverse it as well. So that's just another thing I would look at doing possibly eventually with your MT, getting that Zion and AD duo, as well as adding Rudy Gay to the squad. This next squad here was sent in by my guy Raging Cajun on Twitter. Says he's next gen mostly, which makes sense why he's running Caron Butler and Bingo Smith, and says he has 300k MT to work with. So the first thing I'm gonna say, I've said it a lot, is starting lineup is looking okay. It's looking fine. I know I say it a ton, but most people's lineups that they submit, their starting lineup looks very solid. And then you look at the bench and you're just scratch your head a little bit. Now, Charles Oakley is not terrible. I don't want to sit here and tell you guys that Charles Oakley is terrible, because he's not terrible. He's serviceable and he can hold it down, especially if you're trying to save a lot of your MT. That is just fine. Now, one thing I will say is, instead of Caron Butler, I know you get the duo boost. I would personally prefer Nick Anderson or even a guy like Tyler Hero maybe on next gen. And then you could move Bingo to the 3 if you ran Tyler Hero. Now, that's something to maybe consider, think about. Other than that, honestly, the only other thing I would add is a guy like Rudy. A badged out Rudy Gay is so elite. He really is one of the best, versatile small forward, power forwards in the game. He's just kind of an easy guy to plug in for his price tag. So if you can find a badged out Rudy Gay, that is definitely a guy that I would add to this squad. This next squad here was sent in by Don on Twitter, who also said he's next gen. He says he has 35k to work with, which isn't a ton of MT. It's just truly not a lot of MT, but we can make that work. And the way we're gonna make that work is by selling Monte Ellis, moving Rayford to the starting point guard position, then plugging in Steve Francis. So that should give you a little more wiggle room as far as MT is concerned. The first thing I'm gonna do is replace Jaren Jackson with the guy on next gen that I think is one of the most underrated players in the game. When you're looking at next gen specifically, a guy with like Brandon Ingram with his release is absolutely incredible. And so I definitely think it's worth it. You got to give some to get some. Adding Brandon Ingram, selling off Monte Ellis obviously is the first thing I would do. You're still gonna have a little bit of MT. Now, I don't mind Juwan Howard. I don't love him, but I don't hate him. So you just gotta kind of prioritize what you want to do with your MT. If you want to, you could run Serge Ibaka over Big Cat, but if you're rocking out with Cat, that's fine as well. The only other guy you might look to add is a guy like Rudy. You could add Tyler Hero in here instead of Wig. Maybe move Nick Anderson there. That may be something you want to do. Del Curry is another guy to look at instead of Wiggins or Caron Butler. So the Caron Butler, Andrew Wiggins kind of small forward position is the next thing I would look to upgrade. Maybe by adding a guy like let's do this. You know what? If you really wanted to, you could upgrade both of these positions. I think they're both upgrades. Yes, you're going to be a little bit smaller size-wise, but I think offensively, you're going to notice a big boost if you go with both Tyler Hero and Del Curry. This next squad was sent in by my guy JR Swish on Twitter. Says he has 290k MT. The different thing about his squad is he says he wants to tactically downgrade because he's tired of spending money on this game. So understandably so, he wants to sell most of his bench, which we can definitely do. Now he says he is on next gen, which makes a difference as well. So he wants to sell Giannis and his bench outside of John Wall. So this is the squad he's going to have to work with. And once you sell Giannis, KD, Grant Hill, and Dominic Wilkins, you have a lot of MT to work with. So let's just start off this squad by adding Del Curry here at the 2 and then Nick Anderson at the 3. I think both of those players for their prices are super good. Like both, I personally love them both for those price tags. And then it gets kind of interesting. What do you want to necessarily spend? Because the power forward position is something that I personally like. I think you can get away if you want to run a Draymond type clone, especially on next gen. Paul Silas is a decent enough option at the 4. I personally like him there. And then Rudy Gay, obviously at the starting 4, if you can find a badged out Rudy Gay, is another option. You can get all of these guys for about what, 60k. A badge out Rudy might cost you more, but under 100k definitely for all of these guys. And then you're gonna make a bunch of MTs, sell all those guys, and then add these 4 guys, and I think you will literally get by just fine running this budget squad. This next squad was set in by my guy Braden on Twitter. Says he has 20k MT to work with, and honestly, his starting lineup for having a budget squad is very, very solid, very elite. No doubt about it. Now, his bench is even fine. You got Ja Morant, who's a free card, who is fine for budget players. Definitely can ball out. Got Chris Mullin, another good guy to have. LaMarcus Aldridge is fine. Nick Anderson's a great budget option. We know this. The one downfall to this squad that I do see is this Anthony Davis here. And so I know I've been repetitive with Tyler Hero, Nick Anderson, all these, even a guy like Del Curry. One guy I haven't mentioned yet today is a guy that I think is a guy that's intriguing to me. That's the best way I can describe him. And Gerald Green. I feel like I've never actually played with the card. I actually kind of want to do a gameplay with him. But from what I've known about Gerald Green in past games, what I've seen on the card, I think he's a very, very solid and overlooked option in this game. And so you add him to your lineup and replace AD, and I think you're gonna reap the benefits. This last squad we will go over today was sent in by my guy Tim on Twitter. Says he has 300k to work with, and the fact that he is on current gen. So there's a couple of adjustments I'm going to make to this squad that I initially see. The first thing is Wilt Chamberlain. I hate Wilt Chamberlain. Now, you might like him. You might have your own reasoning for running the card, but I just can't stand Wilt Chamberlain. Patrick Ewing's fine, and so he can hold on. Now, I'm going to give you 2 options. You can either add Sabonis here, who is going to give you more of a stretch big feel, or you can add a guy like Serge Ibaka, who is going to be better defensively and a little bit cheaper. Now, I think Serge Ibaka is who I would tend to lean with right here to add to the squad. And then after that, I personally don't like Carmelo, but I know a lot of people like Carmelo, so that's fine. If you rock out with Carmelo, that's fine. I'm going to throw some options out there to replace him. You could go Rudy Gay, you could go Brandon Ingram, you could go with a budget like a guy like Del Curry, maybe Nick Anderson if you want to. And that's kind of what I see with a lot of people. You know, they got these guys in here that, you know, Melo's okay, but how much really better is he than those guys that are a lot cheaper? So you just kind of got to manage kind of your MT, and is he really worth that? Now, on your bench, I see Morant, Tyreek Evans, Mike Miller, LeBron, and Serge. If I'm you and I have all your MT, I might go out there and get a John Stockton. I think he's a big upgrade over Ja Morant, in my personal opinion, the second best point guard in the game. I think longevity-wise, he's going to have it too. I don't care about Dwayne Wade. I don't care about Baron Davis. John Stockton will be a top 10 point guard for the next month, at least, probably the next 2 months. So I'm definitely fine with you throwing a little bit of MT getting John Stockton. Tyreek Evans, Mike Miller both can hold it down, and so there's no real reason to get budget shooting guards, budget small forwards when you have these free cards. And so the only other thing that I would look at is your starting small forward position, just because I don't like Carmelo. But if you're running Carmelo, you have him in there probably for a reason, and that's because you like him. But for me personally, I'm just gonna make the easy adjustment, plug in Rudy Gay, and this is the last squad I would rock out with. But I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys saw a squad in here like your squad, just take my suggestions for yourself. I try to do some budget squads, try to do some of the best squads, try to do some guys that want to cut back and make some MT, try to do it all within this one video. So I hope you guys found something that is useful for you. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys and have a blessed day.